Our people are anxious, restless, and uncertain about what the next day holds. Now, in my capacity as leader of the minority party in the National Assembly, I wish all Kenyans and members of our party a happy ending to the year 2022 and a happy beginning to the year 2023. I wish to assure Kenyans that their uncertainties are of concern to Azimio. They will be at the core of our agenda in the legislature in the new year. Azimio will be calling for one, in terms of helping farmers put food on the table. In this regard, we will be pushing for a reversal of the changes the UDA government made in 2022, which resulted in a steep rise in the cost of basic commodities, including petrol, diesel, paraffin, electricity, and maize flour. These basic consumer items were subsidized under the previous administration that was, of course, led by Uhuru Kenyatta. We have noticed that the Kenya Kwanza administration lowers subsidies. Whatever they choose to call it, the RUTO administration will have to cushion Kenyans against the ravages of a melting economy. We believe that families and farms struggling to pay their bills need help, and we will demand help on their behalf. 2, cost and management of education. There is a total lack of clarity at the Ministry of Education. Whether fees have gone up or not is not clear. The place of CBC graduates and what their exam means is not clear. Whether the government will continue funding public universities is not clear. With regard to school fees, we will follow up to ensure no child misses a place in high school, college, or university because of lack of school fees. High school education was also substantially subsidized previously, as you may be aware. The RUTO regime has removed the subsidy, but insists, strangely, that fees remain the same. We are going to demand the full reinstatement of the subsidy in education. We are going to demand a review of the university students' loan regime to ensure it is in tune with the prevailing economic circumstances. President RUTO talks a lot about growing up in poverty. We believe he's only where he is because the country paid for his education. He's definitely a beneficiary of the government bursaries of his time and the government sponsorship through entire university education. He must not deny other children that opportunity. We are going to push the government to ensure that every deserving, hardworking, ambitious child in Kenya has the same opportunity the current leaders had to pursue education, without placing the entire burden on poor and struggling parents. We shall insist that the government employs all trained teachers in order to address the biting shortage of teachers in both primary and secondary schools. To this end, we expect to see adequate budgetary allocation to the Teachers Service Commission in the impending supplementary budget to enable it absorb all the unemployed but trained teachers and have them deployed in schools during the first term of 2023. 3, workers' welfare. We are going to take a very keen interest in the grievances of university lecturers and school teachers over pay. If there is merit in their quest for improved salaries, as we are inclined to believe, we will make their issues ours as well. Overall, we are going to take very keen interest in matters pertaining to collective bargaining and minimum wage, not only among the university lecturers and school teachers, but among all people in employment. We will demand that pesa ya wazee reaches all persons over 70 years of age, and that it is increased from the current Kenya shillings 2,000 to a minimum Kenya shillings 4,000 per month, paid on timely and predictable basis. We will also demand that similar assistance is extended to widows, majority being poor, neglected, and vulnerable. 6, protection to farmers. The government is hell-bent on importing maize, rice, and sugar. We are going to demand that this must not happen at the expense of our sugarcane farmers and factories. It must not leave maize and rice farmers stuck in debt. We can't live forever on imported food, particularly when it happens at the expense of our farmers and struggling institutions. We are concerned that just when Mumias Sugar Company was getting back on its feet, the government decided to import sugar. The government will have to tell us how they intend to feed the country through imported produce, while securing local producers at the same time. We are also going to demand sustainable policies for increasing the productivity of smallholder farmers. To this extent, or in this regard, we shall have to hold the RUTO administration to account on their promise and commitment to reduce the price of fertilizer and have the fertilizer reach the farmers at the time they need it. Because we were told that the price was reduced from some 6,500 shillings to I don't know, 3,000 shillings. And yet, when you walk to shops and go down, even here in Kisumu today, you will not come by such fertilizer. We're wondering where this fertilizer is, or how much was it, or to which farmers it was targeted. So as the new year begins, the RUTO government will have to tell us what exactly became of the price decrease for fertilizer. That the existing electoral laws and procedures have not produced an electoral system that most Kenyans could regard as transparent, accountable, and democratic. As we headed to the polls in August, the Gallup poll, which is respected across the globe, found that 64% of Kenyans do not have confidence in the integrity of elections. Afrobarometer survey found that 24% of Kenyans think that elections are not at all free and fair. And further 18% thought that elections may be free and fair, but there are major problems. Only 23% of Kenyans thought that elections are completely free and fair. The Afrobarometer survey further showed that 31% of Kenyans do not trust the IEBC, then, at all. And 23% trusted it only a little bit. Only 19% trusted the IEBC a lot. Now, overall, according to the Gallup poll, the percentage of Kenyans who have confidence in the integrity of elections declined from 58% in 2015 to only 35% in 2021. This is the electoral body whose members President RUTO has presented to Kenyans as heroes. At least some of whose members, not all of them. As we know, the RUTO administration has gone ahead to vilify and hound out of office 4 commissioners of the IEBC as they honor the renegade group of 3. led by Chebukati. Therefore, reform is a must. Any attempt to unilaterally reconstitute the IBC will be vigorously resisted by all patriotic forces. 8, and last, a clear roadmap for upward economic mobility. In 2023, we intend to push for well-thought-out interventions that will ensure long-term and sustainable upward economic mobility of the people of Kenya. We are concerned that too many Kenyans are stuck at the bottom. Too many feel the odds are against them, and that however hard they try, nothing works. Too many Kenyans are being left to the mercy of relatives and neighbors, while the government shuns responsibility.